Okay, well, here we are. I'm here for 7 days. It's Monday. We got here on Sunday. We'll be leaving again on Sunday. I'm here with the full family. It's scorchingly hot. This morning we did the basics. Actually, got around to washing the car. Picked up some stuff from the supermarket. Got everything organised. Got the kids set up more or less. So now it's time for me to get on with doing some work here. So nothing has changed obviously since I left last. But what I want to do now is slowly start plasterboarding up the back wall so that I can get everything screwed together. It's going to be very much a case of getting things in the right order. But before we do that, I'm going to now plumb in all of this. I'm going to put taps on the end of the pipes here and over there, and the shower taps. And then I'm going to put the system under pressure and we'll leave it there for a few hours to make sure that there are no leaks, no surprises, which will then come and bite me once the plasterboard's on. I'm going to finish up the electricity, patch that together, run it through the ceiling so that we have the light here, up here somewhere. There'll be a little spotlight for the loo, and the cable that will run across for the main lighting of the room. And get the wastewater done as well. But the first thing to do, logically, is going to be to get the water plumbed up so that we can leave it on, testing for any pressure leaks. Okay, so we've got the end pieces on the end of all of the pipes with the taps. We're on to the loo. I'm not sure which way around. There is a tap in there as well. I'm guessing that's off. This is definitely off. So the lines have been sent down into the cellar. At the same time, I made sure that all of the wastewater was now set up and lined up perfectly. So I'm going to head down, turn off the water, patch that in, and then we'll see what leaks. Hopefully nothing. Okay, everything's plumbed up. Here comes the moment of truth. Okay, well, it's stopped. So it's not a huge leak, if there is one, but let's head up and see. Okay. Well, nothing's gushing out. Nothing's even dripping out. So that's very good. I'm going to get a bucket and get some water out of here. But that looks, I mean, this stuff is brilliant, let's face it. I did once try and do some plumbing many years ago with copper, and it was a nightmare because it would leak and then you had to drain everything before you could resolder it. And this stuff is fabulous. So that looks very promising. Yeah, as I said, I'm going to go get a bucket, pull some water, make sure that that there's not too much air locked in there and that it is actually watertight. And then we'll get on and finish up the wiring and the runoff for the little sink, which is over here, which I don't think you've seen yet. So this will be the little tiny sink for the loo. And as you can see, it really is very tiny. It'll just go here, like that, to wash your hands after you've been to the loo. A quick interlude. We've decided that we will be lighting the barbecue this evening. So this morning when we were out shopping, got myself a nice big steak and we got some chicken. And I'm going to marinate the chicken in olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder and rosemary. And then I'm going to put it in the fridge and leave it there for a few hours. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to have a cheeky beer This is from my favourite brewery, which is Mittenwald Brewery in Bavaria. And it's a new beer they brought out called Schraufen, which translated means screw, hence the screw on the front. And it's actually so specific that this is a beer that was made to be drunk after work, not with food or anything else. It's just, you've done some work, have one of these, and it really is very good. So I'm going to have a quick one of those, a cheap beer, because it's incredibly hot. I'm going to marinate this up, put it in the fridge, and then we'll get back to work. Okay, so I've got that wired up. That wire will go to the towel dryer. We've got a cable coming over here, which is the light switch, which will be here for the shower. I will have two spots, which are over here. These little LED spots. And the vent at this end, and we'll have an electric vent over there. So what that basically means is that I could plasterboard this, but you always start with the ceiling. So we're going to plasterboard the ceiling above the shower now, and we'll run the ventilation pipe through. It's going to go up here. So the ventilation pipe from the loo will come through there. The one obviously from the shower will just go straight up and across and join up. So I'm going to drill a hole through there and get the pipe running across to the loo and get this first piece of plasterboard up here. So if you remember how we cut it, it works out quite well. I'm going to put in a metre piece, which goes exactly to there, and then a little piece at the end, and the other side, the loo is also less than a metre, and the longer pieces will do the walls behind the shower and the loo. Okay, so lots of footprints on the ceiling, but I got the first few screws in there. I've got these very clever one-handed sort of extendy poles, and you just sort of pull them out, and then you've got a little pistol thing here. You might push it all the way in first. This, then you'll be able to see what I'm talking about better. So you just pump it and it holds it there, and then you have a release here and a big adjuster there. So that held the piece of ceiling very neatly in place, because if you remember, this is fireproof, so it's ridiculously heavy. But that bit's up there. I can now pop a hole in it for a light above the shower, and then run the, as I said, the air pipes out, and in fact then put insulation over the top, because the LEDs don't get warm. Once the pipe's in, I can just lay some insulation in there. We'll be insulating the ceiling in between these joists all the way along. I should really have done it there. I might actually unscrew this piece of plasterboard again and just do that quickly, because I did forget, and it wasn't until I got my camera out. This is the great thing about making YouTube videos. When you have to explain things out loud, you do pick up on a lot of things you missed. So there we go. It's slowly coming together. Okay, and there's our vent that goes up into the loft space. It's got a grill on the top, so nothing will crawl into it. Flexi pipe here. And here is the extractor fan. So that then will run on the light switch for a certain number of seconds after the light switch has been turned off, if it's been on for more than 15 seconds. So just going to get the pipe on, run it across, and then get the insulation in there. And there we go, that just slides over the top, and we'll run down there. So I'm going to go and get the insulation and a little gun. It's not much insulation, because the whole roof will be insulated properly once we get this eco bonus done. But I do want to sort of just insulate the top of the ceiling here, in case we ever do put anything upstairs. That will make acoustic insulation, so that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so this is the shower that we built last year, and if you remember, the fixing up there has to screw into the wall, and we don't have any wall to screw that into, which means I'm actually going to put this shower set in the new shower, and put the old shower set, the new shower set in here. Now, I was just measuring up and I thought what I'll do is I'll put the first of the two spotlights smack in the middle above the shower tray. So the shower tray is 70 by 90, so 35 by 45 up in the ceiling. And then I thought, and this is the thing about getting things done in the right order and thinking and rethinking, I thought, ooh, but if I have this rain shower, how much does that stick out from the wall? And you see, in fact, that's, oops. Okay, well, as I was saying, just before the little fella came in with something very urgent, 36 or 35 is pretty much exactly in the middle of this. So we'd have a spot above this and we'd just be lighting that up. I'm going to go online and have a look and see how that looks, but I have a feeling that that's going to be terrible. And now I have to think of a solution, because obviously putting a spot here is going to look funny. So I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that now. So that's what I'd marked up. And actually, surprisingly enough, I've just been online and had a look. And it really doesn't look bad. It sort of lights them from behind the rain shower and lights up the shower very nicely, because everything's chrome, it'll reflect out quite nicely. So I am in fact going to follow that initial thing. Obviously there'll be quite a big space. The ceiling here is 250 and the rain shower won't be that high up. It'll probably be a good 20 centimeters lower, 230, maybe even lower than that. So it should work. So I'm going to drill that hole, I'm going to pop that in, and then we'll keep going. So this is the insulation. It's 50 millimeters thick. And has an R value of 1.25, so it's not going to work as the only insulation in the room. Obviously, it's the first room that has the insulation, but this is also this room and the back room, actually, and the living room have wooden ceilings, and the first room we did over there obviously has a stone ceiling that's a metre thick, so it doesn't really need that much insulation. This, however, will. So nice, easy, just cut it into strips and put it between the wooden beams. We don't need to go over them. That'll be fine. And then we'll hang our plasterboard from the wooden beams with the rails. I'm going to screw rails onto the little beams, screw the plasterboard onto that, and we'll take the paint off these two big beams and keep them apparent. So that's the plan. I'm going to chop the first little runs out of this. So it'll just be a case of chopping from there to there, and then with a staple gun stapling it into place. It's more acoustic than anything else, really. So not the prettiest result, but definitely doing what it's supposed to do. So now we can put that bit of ceiling back up, get the light drilled out, get the electricity running. I can tell you it is the most horrible thing to do anything with that stuff when you're sweating and it's so hot, because it's just so itchy. So I'm going to go and wash my hands and face now, and then I'll come back and we'll put this bit of rail back in and get the plasterboard done. Okay, so 2 bits of ceiling, little spotlights wired up. This needs to go in a sheath. Here's our switch wire. So far so good. Next up is going to be this back panel here, and the socket, well, the hole for the towel heater. So that'll be the same towel heater as we have on in the other little bedroom, because that works really well. It's just the right size. So bottom right, so it'll basically be more or less there, where perhaps a little bit further over to the right. it means we're going to have a split where two panels meet in the shower, but again, because we're not tiling the shower, we'll be using the micro cement. I think that should be okay. So this panel here, and then we'll put in another vertical there so that we can screw that through to it. And then we'll see what we do next. There we go, the first piece of plasterboard is in, the second one is set up. Always leave a bit of a gap so that you can get the plaster in for the joint. And stroke of genius, making this 250 high and cutting my pieces to 150 at 1, because that's going to make it easier over there as well, although we do have to do some cutouts there to get the pipe work through. So that's going to be very complicated, and that will probably need a fresh morning me. So I'm going to screw this piece down. I'm going to wait, but I will do mounting foam there in the corner. That'll hold everything nicely together, as we did in the other room, basically. But it's definitely coming together. It's definitely coming together. Okay, well, time to light the barbecue. We've decided to go for an early supper tonight so that we can get the kids away because they are very tired. It's been a pretty successful day. Excuse my extremely red face. That's from a lot of sweating, but also rubbing my face. Or, well, it wasn't really. I did wear gloves and a mask, but that insulation stuff just gets all over you. So, trusty old barbecue that we bought last season. You would have seen the gas monster that I bought in Innsbruck. Out here at the moment we're still going strong with charcoal, which does give it a nice flavour. So I'm now going to sit down with a different beer. This is a Tegernsee, also an excellent Bavarian beer. The weather's sort of, it looks menacing over there, but it's not supposed to thunder today. So I think in fact our weather's coming from over there and the sun will come back out in a couple of minutes. But it is still very warm, but with just a nice little breeze there. So perfect end to a great day. Have some food and then after dinner go and have a drink with some friends at the Cooperativa. Okay, we've got some rosemary potatoes. They're already done. They're going to cool down because they're lava hot inside, and I'm now going to put the chicken and the beef on the now extremely hot barbecue. So the chicken's doing very well, but as you can see, it's not really hot enough for the beef. I'm missing my 800-degree gas griller at home, but I think it'll probably end up okay anyway. We'll just have to put it on some indirect heat and leave it to settle for a while. And I did salt it before, so it should be quite tender anyway. We'll see. Okay, well, that's it for today. It's been a lovely, warm and productive day. We've done lots of things. The room is definitely getting there. The weather is fabulous. The food was great. Everything was exactly as it should be. So thank you very much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram. There are, in fact, every once in a while I post. I did post just before I came down, and quite a few people watched that. But I see that there's 14,000 subscribers on YouTube. There's 700 on Instagram, so you might want to look at that. It's not useless yet. Otherwise, stay tuned. More tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and bye bye for now.